Hey, Bobby Darin fans. Glad you found me. It's the initial installment of A Daily Dose of Darren. I'll be your host. My name is Sam Tallarico. And recording this, let's see, it is May 12th, 2023. And it was on this date, way back in 1960, when Bobby Darin, just 2 years into his career breaking out nationally, in the United States, that he was featured on the cover of Downbeat Magazine. Now, Downbeat was a very prestigious jazz publication of the time. And to get an article written about you is one thing, but to be featured on the cover, wow, that's a whole different ballgame. There was a writer named Gene Lees wrote an article, interviewed Bobby Darin. The article is called Bobby Darin's Turn from Junk Music, which I guess he's alluding to the rock and roll stuff like Splish Splash early in the morning. And it's a really thorough, lengthy article. Bobby talks about being compared to Frank Sinatra. There's Darren's snappy comeback to Sinatra's comment about I sing in saloons. Bobby Darin plays my prom dates. And what Bobby retorted is featured in this article, as well as Gene Lee's, the writer's assessment of Bobby Darin's talents, both singing and performing. There's also some mention of sex in there and all the females, how Bobby Darin was reacting to all the girls and what this author thought about all the girls, chasing Bobby Darin. It's just a really thorough article. I'll put a link down below so that you can look it up yourself. It is available on the bobbydarin.com or .net website, whichever one that is. Really worthwhile reading. But the purpose also of this series is to expose maybe some of you newer fans or people who really don't know all that much about Bobby Darin's lengthy catalog. He released over 25 studio albums and placed more than 40 singles on the Billboard charts. But a lot of people, aren't familiar with some of his lesser known work. And it's my desire and goal to expose you to that. And if you're a hardcore Bobby Darin fan, maybe have you listen to these songs in a different way based on some of the information that I want to share with you. Since we're focusing on May of 1960, I noted that Bobby Darin had not one, but two albums in the Billboard Top 20 album chart this week in 1960. That's All was still in the top 20, and in the top 10 was his follow-up called This Is Darren. And it's from that album, This Is Darren, that I'd like to expose you to the very first song in this series. The tune was written by Richard A. Whiting and Johnny Mercer. Johnny Mercer, you might know, recorded a duet album with Bobby Darin called Two of a Kind. That's just a hoot and a half. Richard A. Whiting, you might be less familiar with. One of his big hits that he wrote was on the good ship Lollipop, made famous by either Shirley Temple or Tiny Tim, based on your age frame of reference. They also wrote Hooray for Hollywood. So the song that I'm talking about was featured in a motion picture released in 1937 called Varsity Show. It starred a very popular actor of the day, Dick Powell. Dick Powell made a recording of the song I'm going to play, which might as well just tell you the title. It's called Have You Got Any Castles, Baby? Which is a great title. What's that all about? You're probably wondering. Well, I'll get to that. The show wasn't all that popular. The song wasn't all that popular. And Dick Powell sang it in a song that was very typical for the day. Had one of those Busby Berkeley numbers in the movie. But when Bobby Darin got a hold of it, and the reason that I picked this particular song is because some of you might be familiar with Bobby Darin as a crooner, others as a swinger, that swing type of music. This song, Have You Got Any Castles, Baby, encompasses both styles. And not only that, there's an extra bonus. Bobby Darin was known for his impressions of famous people, celebrities. And there's even one in the middle of the song. I think it's Walter Brennan. His voice is impeccable. He starts out in a ballad, and you can just the way he wraps his mouth around the vowels, you, do, is really something to behold. And then he gets a little bit more swingy. Then there's a fantastic instrumental break before he really lets loose, and it's just a 3.5 minutes of pure bliss. The lyrics to Have You Got Any Castles, Baby are all about the singer's desire to do these things for his woman, and Bobby just sings them with such sincerity, just oozes out of it. So I hope you enjoy today's daily dose of Darren. I'm going to put a link in where you can listen to the song. A lot of the YouTube versions of these songs have the comments turned off. Well, my comments will be turned on, and I would love to get your feedback below. So thanks so much. Remember to keep calm and listen to Darren. Thanks.